Hello, I'm Brian Hood from the sixfigurehomestudio.com, and in this video, I'm going to talk about quitting your day job to run your studio full-time, the risks you run by doing this, and then the dangers of having a day job that you don't necessarily hate. So I was talking to one of my email subscribers through email. We had a little chat going back and forth, and we were talking about some of the things that were holding him back from pushing his studio forward. And in this email, in this part of the email, he's talking about an internal belief that's holding him back. And so I wanted to share this part with you and then kind of jump off of this into a little bit of a subject that I hear from a lot of people all the time, not just in the studio world, but all around the world. People that I've had conversations with at conferences and online and just in random interactions when traveling. But here's the email. It says, "My internal belief that holds me back is that I will have a hard time earning enough money with audio to be able to quit my job. I won't bore you with the details of my life, but I'll just say that I have a good salary and I can't quit and just say, fuck it. But I want to add that I like my job, so it's a position that isn't uncomfortable, which may affect my dedication to audio, even though I don't think it does." Now, I hate to say it, but your job absolutely affects your dedication to audio, and it's especially because it's not necessarily uncomfortable for you. This is textbook golden handcuffs, and it's affecting a lot of people in their position. Golden handcuffs are basically when you make a comfortable living doing something that you're not necessarily excited about. You may have always wanted to leave and do something that you'd actually enjoy. And you may either loathe your job or you may just somewhat enjoy it. But either way, you're comfortable with your job, which means, if we're being honest, it's a death sentence to making any sort of career change. This goes all across the board. And so the dangers of having a good job that you don't necessarily hate is that the good pay leads to complacency in your life. And even if the pay isn't necessarily good, you'd rather collect a regular paycheck than to take a leap of faith on your own. And this is a lot of times just a lack of confidence in what you're doing and lack of confidence in yourself. But it all comes down to complacency, and complacency will suck away the motivation to succeed or push yourself at something that you're passionate about. Even if you really want to do that thing, the complacency will just suck that out of you. It allows you to make excuses about not going out on your own, and it's the whole, I don't want to screw up a sure thing. I have an alternate viewpoint for this. You may think, hey, my job is more reliable, it's a steady paycheck, I can depend on it every single month, but that's not necessarily true. You're putting your faith into a job that pays your bills. This is one check from one source. You could lose that source of income basically overnight for a lot of different reasons. It could be your company's downsizing. You get fired for being an idiot or whatever. Your company goes out of business. Your position becomes completely expendable or replaced by like a machine, an app, other innovations that you have zero control over. And there are a lot of examples of this recently. Now compare that to the self-employed studio owner. Now, I know it can be a huge slog to get started, but once you've established your studio, you have multiple sources of income. Every single band that comes to you is a source of income. Any producers that work with you, those are sources of income. Any partnership or referral income streams that you have in place, those are all separate streams of income, and you are never going to lose every single source of income overnight. So with all these multiple sources of income in place, if it comes down to where you just aren't making enough money, you're going to see the writing on the wall, and you're going to have plenty of time to jump ship before it comes down to taking out loans or going to bankruptcy or whatever. And I do have a few caveats with this. Self-employment definitely has its negatives. You have fluctuating income, that's one. I've had instances where I've had 1,000% difference from month to month. That means one month I earn 10 times less than I earn the next month. The thing you can do to counter that is to have a buffer in place, have 6 to 12 months of emergency funds in place, so when you have lean months or a string of bad months, you're okay. There's also issues with, it's not always fun and games being self-employed. Yes, you're your own boss, but there is occasional some bullshit you have to deal with. There's going to be tax BS. There's stuff you have to deal with over-demanding clients who aren't paying you enough, honestly. There is issues with red tape and other administrative boredom that you're going to have to do. The counter for this is I hire for this. If there's something that I don't want to do, like my taxes or administrative tasks or little tedious actions that I have to do over and over and over and over again, the stuff that I find that's not fun, I hire for that. The issue is you're going to have to do this all yourself at first. And if you're not prepared to do that, it may not be time for you to make the jump. Another issue is creating an established studio or a reputation as a reliable audio engineer is a lot of work. It is a lot of work, and it's taken me years and many 15-hour days and 100-hour weeks to do this. It can take a lot of time. If you're the type of person that just likes to be told what to do every single day, this is not the business for you. No one is going to be over your shoulder barking orders at you. You have to be able to take initiative and take responsibility for your own business. If you're going to make this leap to full-time, you're going to have to step out of your comfort zone. The thing about that is it's hard, it's scary, and there's some unknowns with that, but it's going to ultimately help you grow as a human being. Starting my studio was the single best business decision, and maybe not just business decision, but just overall decision that I've ever made when it comes to creating a life that I enjoy. It's been a lot of work, and there have been some ups and downs, and even a brief period of depression, which I'll probably have to make a video about that later, because a lot of people struggle with that. But in the end, it has honestly led to the happiest, most fulfilling chapter of my life. So back to the point of this video, you're never going to push yourself if you just let your boss keep those golden handcuffs on you. And I know it's a challenge, and sometimes it feels like an uphill battle, but if you can make it work, it is highly rewarding. So what does it take to shift from your cushy and possibly unrewarding day job, or AKA, what are the keys to unlocking these golden handcuffs that your boss currently has on you? Well, the first thing to do is just make a decision. Do you want this or not? The answer here does not have to necessarily be a yes. You may decide that you really don't want to make the leap of faith and become self-employed, because I know entrepreneurism is not for everyone. You do, though, need to look at your current career path and decide if this is what you want. Do you want this? Or is this just what your friends and family expect of you? The next thing to look at is, what is the worst case scenario for each decision, whether you stay at your day job or whether you quit your day job and move to your full-time other career, alternate career. Well, the worst case for staying at your day job, let's kind of look at this. Is it soul-sucking? Is it just hacking away at your HP one by one? And if this is the case, how long can you keep this up? Are you just doing it for the money? And I know money seems great, and it's a lot of motivation for a lot of people, but sometimes a well-paying job just leads to an increased cost of living due to all the creature comforts you get used to. And this is what makes golden handcuffs so dangerous. You start getting used to, oh, I have a nice car now, and oh, I have a nice house now, and oh, my 401k is fully funded. And then 30 years later, you wake up with your well-funded 401k, a bunch of stuff, a nice house, decent house, some retirement savings, and a whole lot of regrets about what you didn't do with your life. The next thing to look at is there even long-term potential in the job that you have right now? Do you see yourself becoming expendable or obsolete in the next 10 years? Could you be fired? Could you be let go? Just look at all the industries that have been completely disrupted over the past decade, and that should give you an idea of maybe your job won't even be around by the end of the decade. Now let's look at the other worst case scenario. What if you leave your day job and jump into the pro audio world full-time, or whatever you're trying to pursue? It could take longer than you expect to make a full-time living in audio, if ever. You may not even have what it takes. And I know it sounds harsh, but some people just lack the self-awareness to understand that they're good at some things and they're not at others. And if you need an example of this, just go back and look at all those American Idol auditions that were horrible, like William Hung, I think was the guy's name. All those people lacked self-awareness to understand that they are not good singers. And there's going to be a lot of cases where some of you guys are not good at what you do in the audio engineering or producing or home studio world, and you just can never make it based off of what you currently have in your skill set. There's a caveat with this, though, and that is, just because you don't have what it takes now doesn't mean that you can't change that and do it later. So don't let that discourage you if you're not ready to take the leap yet. It just means you wouldn't succeed right now if you tried. Another thing to look at on this side of things is you may have a family that depends on you. So if you quit your day job and you have a family that depends on you, how long is your runway? Which your runway is just how much money do you have in the bank and how long that could last if you have no income. What is your runway, and are you just willing to take the risk with your family based off of that runway? Now, at the end of the day, it's just ultimately up to you and what kind of risk tolerance you have, and whether you have family, you have debt, you have bills, whatever those things are. If you think you're ready to take the plunge into a full-time career in audio, it may be time to test yourself. And this is where I have come in, and I've created a super in-depth self-assessment that will help you see your blind spots, see where you need to improve, and just overall give you a better sense of where you stand and how you stack up against thousands of other audio entrepreneurs. You get a score from 0 to 100 in 7 different categories, and you get an action plan for each of those categories to start improving the ones that you are really lacking on. You'll get a list of my favorite books, my favorite podcasts related to these topics, and some other resources. So if you want to take this assessment, it's free, 100% free. Just go to the sixfigurehomestudio.com/profit, and you can start it right now. Or if you're just short on time right now, there's also an option to sign up for reminders that will just send you like a quick weekly reminder until you take the assessment. You can unsubscribe anytime from that if you get tired of it. But with that, Hopefully this video has been enlightening for you in some way. Hopefully it's kind of lets you look at yourself and see if you're ready to start thinking about making the shift full time, or if you really have to do a lot personally to develop yourself before you can make that leap. So that's it for this video. Remember, it sucks to suck. So always keep learning. Happy hustling. You are putting your faith, I'm gonna do that again. It sounds like I'm fucking reading. Teleprompter. So if it comes down to it and your studio, fucking shit. No, fuck it. Shit. Shit. That's so fucking good. One of those will fucking work. Will, you're a little bitch. Goodbye. Fuck, not goodbye.